So this is the Nothing Phone 1, and I am an Android developer from the last 3 years, and I'm going to share my experience of buying it in the US as well as in India. Because according to the CEO of this company, Carl, he says that we live in a world where the smartphones are getting very boring. If you look at iPhone, Android, Samsung, Apple, all are releasing the kind of phones which are very consistent from the last few years. All the changes they go through include camera, little bit better camera, thought about software improvements and bit faster software experience every single year. But at the end of the day, in the last few years, the rate of innovation has slowed down. Now in this market, nothing says by coming up with an innovative phone, not just innovative, according to Times magazine, this phone was the most innovative tech of 2022. And agar aap ye kharide ho, if you buy this phone, this will be still up to date till the end of 2023, because Nothing Phone 1 is coming almost pretty much the end of this year. So this could be a great buy still in India and US. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty details how this phone can actually make people switch from an iPhone back to an Android. That's what the CEO says. Can it actually happen? Let's find out. Number one, software experience. The moment I switched to Nothing Phone 1, I have actually used Pixel 6, Pixel 7 Pro, Samsung Galaxy S22, but the moment I switched to Nothing Phone 1, I was impressed because even in terms of user experience, from fingerprint sensor to using it day to day, it feels smoother than all the Android phones I've used, because this has 120 Hz. My Pixel 6 has 90 Hz display, Pixel 6a especially. So that's why you definitely feel smooth for a 27,000 rupee smartphone in India. Abhi Flipkart pe itna hai, and $300 in the US, because currently it's launched for that price. But there's a clause, even though it is smooth, but right now for US there's a limitation that you can only use T-Mobile SIM card, because if you will use any other SIM card, 5G will not work. So I have a Mint Mobile SIM card. For that, the speed test seems fine. So I just did a speed test between iPhone and Nothing Phone 1, and I just saw a difference of 40 Mbps. If you look at all the average tests I did, Nothing Phone 1 always gives better speed tests connected to Wi-Fi. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure they have done some sort of optimization and it feels faster. Even with Pixel, I just did the speed test as well and I got 450 Mbps. And this is still less than Nothing Phone 1, and I'm really impressed. Now talking about the design, आप किसी को भी दिखाओ, every person will say that this looks like an iPhone, because it actually does. All the positions of the buttons, volume buttons, as well as power button, everything is pretty much like iPhone. Only thing missing is the button to silent and unsilent the phone, just like the iPhone and OnePlus had, but that is missing in it. But overall, design is very similar to iPhone. But the cool thing is, because of the boxy design, आप इसे सीधा भी खड़ा कर सकते हो, and you can make it stand horizontally as well as vertically on the table, and it is quite stable. This phone also has wireless charging. Only thing missing is the MagSafe coil. अगर आप online search करोगे, you can actually find multiple coils. You can paste it on the back and you can convert it to a MagSafe wireless charging, or all the accessories that work with iPhone for being MagSafe, they can work on it. I can even charge my Samsung device with it. And I tested that it can charge my Samsung device from 0 to 25% easily. So that makes it more innovative. Now let's talk about the camera. मैंने काफी photos खींची. I personally think the photos that I took with Nothing Phone 1 are a bit overexposed if you compare the ones with Pixel. So Pixel, I think, takes more realistic photo with better background blur, but Nothing Phone 1 is very competitive. Okay, so this photo is from Google Camera and this photo is from Nothing Camera. थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा expose लगता है, फेस में थोड़ा सा beauty effect डाला गया and shadows are less as compared to through Google Camera. So this is called software optimization in camera. This is taken with Google Camera. You can read every single line of the code even after zooming in that much. Now, if you look at this photo, this is iPhone, this is Nothing Phone 1. If you look at the purple color, this is more purple in iPhone as compared to Nothing Phone 1. But overall, all the colors look very realistic and consistent. Only problem was with the video. अगर आप video देखोगे, in some videos exposure goes up and down, so it is bit inconsistent in the videos. So this is wide angle lens with Nothing Phone 1. Exposure इसका काफ़ी ऊपर नीचे जा रहा है and it's blinking, so इसकी exposure wide angle में इतना consistent नहीं है, but with the main lens it's pretty good. One more key difference I saw, अगर आप किसी वीडियो में फॉरवर्ड करके देखो, इट सीम्स मोर इंस्टेंट इन नथिंग फोन 1. अगर मैं प्ले भी कर दूँ, इट इज़ मोर इंस्टेंट इन नथिंग फोन 1, चाहे मिली सेकेंड का डिफरेंस है, बट इन टर्म्स ऑफ स्मूथनेस आई स्टिल थिंक नथिंग फोन इज स्मूदर समटाइम्स as compared to iPhone or as compared to any Android phone I've used. It just feels jittery smooth and animations are better than any other phone. But with photos, it does an amazing job in good daylight, but in low light, definitely Pixel is the winner. But there's a solution. You can actually download Google Camera app and it delivers pretty much same performance just like Pixel, because the sensor, both sensors are pretty good, but the ultra wide is definitely not up to the mark, but wide angle gives you almost same result as Google Pixel if you use Google Camera for the main lens at least, but for the ultra wide that is not up to the mark. But main camera जो मैं देख रहा हूँ, इसका exposure consistent रहता है, चाहे background bright हो या फिर not bright हो, so it says fine. But wide angle, क्योंकि वो lens इतना premium नहीं है, उसमें problem है. Now finally let's talk about screen time. I used it for almost a week, more than a week actually, and I can tell you that sometimes I use it as a secondary device. तो मैं क्या करता हूँ, कभी कभी I'll just leave it and use it after one day. Sometimes I don't use it for one day at all. And the standby time on this phone is first of all amazing. If I don't use it for 1 to 2 days, I just lose 10 to 20% of battery life. But on other Android phones, I've seen sometimes the whole battery has died if I do not use it. So standby battery life is very less in many cases. But this phone is definitely special in terms of battery life. And in terms of screen time, it is 6 to 7 hours for me in terms of using YouTube, Apex Legends, and Asphalt 9. And I also played GTA Vice City. Now we are in the actual game. ये गाड़ी चोरी करते हैं. And my favorite part about this phone in terms of gaming is, मैंने इतना notice किया है, that it doesn't get heated up. Usually Android phones made up of plastic get heated up a lot. ये अभी भी काफ़ी cool है, and because of this glass, it is bad conductor of heat and electricity as compared to plastic. So ये इतना गर्म नहीं होता है even after charging and playing. So उसके कारण I'm really impressed. All of these games combined give anywhere between 5 to 7 hours. If I play gaming, then close to 5 hours. If no gaming, then close to 6 to 7 hours, which is pretty good. Now, most importantly, let's talk about my experience as an Android developer. I have been running Android apps on many phones, as I told you, on Pixel 7 Pro, Pixel 6, and my experience is Android development is same on all phones. All phones give you pretty much the same experience. Now, what's special about Nothing Phone 1 is that Carl Pei, the CEO, says from Nothing Phone 2, not this phone, but next phone, will release the API of glyph lights as well. So you can actually make Android apps for this lighting and you can customize it. So for example, let's say that you install an app to automate when you go to office, then this light should not work because this can distract your co-workers. So you can automate and add more value to these lights if you become an Android developer for Nothing Phone 1. But currently, as far as I have researched, I didn't find any API to use glyph lighting as an Android developer, but I'm pretty sure soon when Nothing Phone 2 comes, Carl Pay might make it available for Nothing Phone 1 as well, or just for Nothing Phone 2. This could be a great way for Android developers to make money, because when you make an Android app, the ad revenue of that up to 70% or more than 70% goes to the developers. So it's a great way to make money, but right now this is limited. So I hope once that is available, I would also like to play with the glyph lights as an Android developer and try to see what kind of automation I can do with the lights. But overall in my day-to-day life, I'll be very honest, I do not use them. It is distracting. First time बहुत मजा आता है. It is so much fun, you know, when you are playing some music. So whenever you want to play music, it is really fun to see lights. ये आपका mood refresh कर देती हैं, and it is like very joyful looking at them. but every day these are distracting. I personally try to keep them off, even though जब आप इसे on a flat display when you're trying to charge, it can tell you the charging level with these lights, but it is very distracting. I do not use it any day. Only reason to use them is just to refresh your mood when you're listening to music. That's my favorite part of these lights. And also when you take close-up shots, especially with the macro lens, these lights can be treated as fill lights. So in that case, it can add value. But overall, I personally think if developers have the API to control these lights, these can become more useful. So for example, let's say Google Calendar has access to these lights. On your birthday, they can play a birthday song in sync with these lights if they make it possible. Although like when you play a birthday song on YouTube, music will be synced with these lights anyway, but if you want to automate more things, the API can be helpful. So that'll be my conclusion. It could be a great buy in the US for $300, but remember, 5G will not work on AT&T and other carrier providers, because in US there's a limitation that the phone maker has to get it certified or at least authorized by all the carrier providers, and that wasn't done because this is a new company. Even though if you look at the profit margins and the revenue that they have made, it was only around $20 million in 2021, but they have increased to $200 million. So in this competitive market, Apple is trying to give you the best specs with best hardware. Google is also trying to do the same, but when nothing comes, they are trying to give you the best experience. Because अगर आप पूरा hardware भी देख लो, in terms of whole hardware, it generates the lowest heat as compared to both the smartphone I've used in the first week at least. And overall software experience too, it tries to give you the best software experience for this budget with not the highest end specs. So that's why it becomes the unique selling point for this phone. And in this competitive market, अगर आप इंडिया में देखो, in India, iPhone market was less than 2% 2 to 3 years ago, but right now it is around 5% of the cell phone market in India. So that is a huge, big jump that India has taken in terms of Apple users. But in this competitive market as well, getting 200 million revenue is amazing for a company that new like nothing. I really admire his vision, and he is the CEO that is getting into the niche market by bringing most innovative tech. So that'll be it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.